Welcome back, movie lovers. I'm Josh.
I'm Chris.
With our powers combined, we are Garner Brothers Movie Lovers. Today we are talking Werewolf by Night. This is a fun horror Halloween special made by Marvel that I guess is even within the MCU. And it's filmed as a black and white old, what is that, 60s horror movie?
50s. Yeah, those old Universal black and white horror films, it's totally an homage to those.
And maybe is too good of an homage to those.
Because it's not very scary.
No. But, yeah, it's a fun little take on a werewolf story that is in a big maze thing with some demon hunter guys. It's pretty fun. It's a pretty fun thing.
The big name for this movie, and the biggest reason I wanted to see it, was that it's directed by Michael Giacchino, who is a film composer. But this time he got to actually direct a film. So it's his directorial debut. And by George, I think he did it. He did a good job.
He did do a good job.
The direction in the film,
he's a very competent director.
He got good performances out of the actors. I thought there was some really interesting camera angles and scenes played out in ways that I thought were interesting.
He was able to really honor that classic horror with the lighting and the black and white aspect of the film. It was a lot of fun. And he did really well, and I hope we see more.
No, I do too.
Because I liked it a lot.
Yeah, and I would love to see him.
He did the music as well. It was lots of fun. Michael Giacchino, I'm a big fan. This is a good start.
It is remarkable to me that he could even fit this into his life. Like, directing.
The guy is doing all the music to everything. Yeah. He does it
all. All the things that he scored this year, and then he directed something on top of all of that.
He is hot stuff right now, and
yeah, he is.
And good on you. It's pretty good. It's not perfect, so it's not scary, like at all. And there's not much werewolf in this werewolf movie.
Yeah, given the title of the film, you might expect that a werewolf is the main antagonist of the film. I thought it was interesting. The main character was interestingly ambiguous for a while. You knew something was different about him.
That's true.
That he was hiding something, but you didn't know what it was or like what his angle was or whatever. So that was interesting to me. I liked that.
I liked how they had some other classic horror like icons on the walls. Heads of creatures that had been killed by Bloodstone, the hunter of demons or whatever his name is.
My biggest problem with it is it's an hour long. It feels weird. It feels like it doesn't know what it is. It didn't feel like an episode of a TV show. But it's the same length as, kind of a streaming show episode would be. True. But it felt more like a movie than a TV episode, except it was a TV episode length. And so it occupied this weird middle ground where I don't really know what to classify it as. I mean, it's like a little Halloween special. It's an hour long. It's different than anything else in the MCU. It was kind of a fun little curiosity, but it did feel like it didn't know what it was. I don't know what it was. I will also say that if you're squeamish at all about violence and gore, there's a little bit more of that in this than you might expect from a standard like TV-14 or PG-13 kind of a rated thing.
I think they were able to get away with some more because it was black
and white. If this was in color, I think it would have been TVMA.
Yeah, because it was pretty violent.
There's one of the more interesting scenes visually. Kind of like a hallway scene, except it's a little bit farther back than some hallway scenes are shot. But it seems, there's like a lot of cool movies with a really cool hallway scene where
all the hallway scenes are the best scenes.
Yeah. Well, this movie has a hallway scene. And in this hallway scene, a lot of blood gets splattered on the camera. And
the best scene in She-Hulk was a hallway scene with Daredevil.
Oh, yeah. Hallway scenes are the best.
They're always so good. Why don't they just shoot the whole movie in the hallway?
So yeah, those are some of my thoughts.
3.
Good, fine, bad?
Good, fine, bad.
Good. Fine. Good. Bad.
Fine.
Really good. That's bad. That's bad. That's bad.
Everything's perfectly all right now. We're fine. We're all fine here now. Thank you. How are you?
It is fine. It's fine. I'm going to go fine.
I'm gonna go with good.
Good. I'm going to say fine leaning to good. It doesn't feel right to just say fine. So, fine leaning to good.
Yeah. I thought it was good. If it had been, like, I don't know, if it had been 2 hours long, it might have been great. But it was good. I enjoyed it. And then it was over really fast. So
That's it. We're going spoilers now. So everyone just... I don't know why, but nobody cares about spoilers for this movie. This is a streaming movie that came out. Everyone saw this already. But we're going to talk spoilers now. So for the one person who wants to see this who hasn't and happens to be watching our video for some reason, you've been warned. I feel like it was almost too true to the classic horror movies to a fault. Because when you see the character heads on the walls as it's going around, they look a lot like rubber masks. When they're in the maze and you see the plants, they look a lot like fake plants. But I think it's on purpose. It all feels like it's supposed to feel that way. But it's distracting. So that kind of bugged me a little bit. But
that didn't bother me at all.
You kind of have to respect it too. So
yeah,
it's kind of hard. I also didn't love the werewolf design, except that too is more true to what a Wolfman movie would be like in the 50s or the 60s or whatever. That is kind of what you would expect to see from an old classic werewolf movie.
But it might look a little weird if you actually stick him next to other... I mean, if they ever bring these characters into the rest of the MCU, like if they interact...
he should probably not look like that.
Yeah. If they bring him into a full-color film with other superheroes and he looks like that, there's going to be a little bit of a disconnect. Not that there's any indication that they will do something like that.
We're introducing a world that will ultimately become quite important to the future of the MCU.
But... they could.
There's a surprise monster in this movie. The Man-Thing is in this movie, which is, I think, the version of Swamp Thing from DC, which is a version of the creature from the Black Lagoon from old horror movies. Yeah, I did not know that was going to happen, and he's the monster that you see for a long time. I thought we were going to be seeing a werewolf, and all of a sudden through the bushes you see this big fleshy hand grab someone, and I was like, what the heck was that? And then he's like buddies with the main character, and that really threw me off guard. But I love the relationship that these two have together. Yeah. It's a lot of fun that this big oafy swamp monster keeps getting himself into trouble, and his werewolf buddy has to keep bailing him out. Kind of feels like Han and Chewie or something like that, and it was a lot of fun. I liked that a lot.
Is his name Ted?
Yeah, his name's Ted.
That was pretty great. If this movie had been longer than an hour, I felt like there was some good build up to the werewolf. Once we found out that that's what this guy was, and then we saw that he was in a cage with this girl, and he's probably going to rip her to shreds as soon as he changes, right? And they're going to force him to change early or whatever. Like, there could have been more build-up if the film was longer, more build-up to that. And then there could have been more werewolf in the movie, and it could have been, like, more intense and more, like, it could have been, if it had been a longer movie. Even if it was just a half hour longer, I think you could have had more werewolf, could have been scarier. I don't know. It felt a little bit... like, you know, the werewolf bit is just kind of shoehorned into the end.
Yeah.
And it was effective for what it was, but it might have been more if it had been a film. Even a shorter film. There's lots of hour and a half long movies. It could have been one of those. And it would have felt more complete to me.
Pretty good. Way to go, Michael Giacchino.
Seriously awesome that he did that. Very cool.
Give us a like. Give us a thing. We talked about Ghostbusters once, and a bunch of weird ghost stuff happened while we were making it.
True, maybe some cool werewolf stuff will happen while we're talking about this.